Welcome to Real Confessions and Stories. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the saddest confessions and family secrets that I've come across this past week while I was just minding my business and scrolling through the internet. Please subscribe and turn on your bell notifications so that you do not miss a single upload from me. There will be new uploads every week. So let's dive into it. I am a 52-year-old man, and I just found out that my brother and I have different mothers. I mean, we grew up in the same home. We had pictures together as young kids. I just thought we were full brothers and ignored it when people around us used to say I looked nothing like my brother. It did not bother me at all. However, when I was finally told, the story was that my dad was casually dating my mom and another woman at the same time. The other woman did not want to raise a child. So my dad and my mom agreed to raise him as if they were both his parents. It made sense after the facts. But my mom and I both had kidney failure and we needed transplants. So did two of her siblings. So it was clear that this was solely from my mother's side of the family. However, my dad and my brother never had those issues at all. So it made sense when I was told all of this a few years later, after I've spent my whole life thinking that my brother is my full brother. However, the fact that I was lied to my whole life does not sit well with me. It's tough. It's very tough, but if anything, it wouldn't change the connection between me and my brother. I would side-eye my family, and I believe that the person is allowed to be angry. You are allowed, sir, to be angry. You are allowed to do whatever you want. You are allowed to react however way you want. But I really hope that you did not project your anger towards your brother. The next one reads, I accidentally found out that my uncle was not my uncle by blood. My paternal grandparents got married and had my dad, but then she got sick and they didn't think she would be able to get pregnant again. So she and my grandfather decided to adopt a boy. Then she ended up having another son after this. They never told anyone, and apparently my mom let it slip when she was drunk one night, and I have never forgotten about it. I don't know if my other uncle, the youngest brother, knows, but I have been sworn to secrecy. It's a crazy world that we live in. It is a very crazy world that we live in. The next one says, my dad told me a couple of years ago that the dog they gave away when I was a child, in actuality shot by my uncle, and it took a couple of tries to unalive the dog. What? My dad told me a couple of years ago that the dog they gave away when I was a child was in fact shot by my uncle. And it took a couple of tries before he managed to unalive the dog. Wow. The next one reads, my bio dad once confessed that he and my now stepdad had having copulation with multiple men and women with my mom when they were married. My dad and stepdad were and still are friends. I wanted to end my life. Anytime they're together, it creeps into my head at least once. I cannot even fathom the thought of them together. What? It's a crazy world. This one says, a woman I worked retail with, who up until that point was the sweetest, gentlest, middle-aged lady I've ever met in my entire life. She told me the most disturbing story about her family. This was in Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina. She and her family had lived there for generations. They were well known and well loved by basically everyone for being kind and generous neighbors. On one casual Wednesday, as my coworker and I were restocking the shelves, she told me that years ago, her sister-in-law's boyfriend was caught assaulting the sister-in-law's very young child. She then witnessed the men of the family, including her husband, take the boyfriend deep into the mountains and return several hours later without him. He was never seen or heard from again. There was a bare bones investigation, but nothing ever came of it. The especially shocking thing wasn't just that she had essentially confessed to being a witness, even an accomplice to a possible murder. It's that she told me that the especially shocking thing wasn't just that she had essentially confessed to being a witness, even an accomplice to a possible murder. It's that she told me the story so calmly, so evenly, and so unapologetically. She never brought anything like it up again and knitted me a baby bonnet as a gift when I left on maternity leave a few months later. I still think about her. I mean, justice was served, right? Don't you think so? I can just imagine how they were feeling, the mental state. I mean, I'm not condoning anything, but I'm not judging. I'm also not judging. I understand where they were coming from. That's all I'm saying. While on a family fishing trip in the mountains, my very conservative and proper mother-in-law told me that her husband, my father-in-law, once had a girlfriend in another town and planned to move out to be with her. This was about 10 years before my husband was born. He suggested she keep a child and he'd take a child. There were 2 sons, my husband's older brothers. My mother-in-law was very sleepy and her guard was definitely down for a moment. It shocked me, and my husband doesn't believe the story or even that she said this to me. They were a very close, multi-generational Southern family that all worked at the same family business and did literally everything together. No one ever knew that they were having problems at all. My mother-in-law never elaborated or brought it up again. Am I surprised? No. Does this sound familiar and common? Yes, because this is exactly the kind of world that we live in. It's 2025. If you're surprised, get on with the times, honey. Get on with the times. The next one reads, when I was about 15 years old, I was babysitting two young girls. The older one was brilliant. She had left the playroom we were in supposedly to use the bathroom. When she returned, she was carrying a photo album. She opened it and asked me who was in the picture. Well, the two girls had a much older sister who, it turns out, was from their father's previous marriage. They did not know this. The picture was of him with another woman holding a baby. I told them I didn't know and they would have to ask their parents. I also told her she shouldn't have been in her parents' room. I never babysat for them again. I believe she knew something and just wanted the truth. I don't know if they talked to them about it or not. I did tell them, though, what had occurred. They were very good people and probably didn't think the girls were old enough to understand. I don't think I'd stop babysitting because a family secret came out on my watch, unless if maybe that was the agreement. I don't think sis should run away from getting her money over a family secret that came out while she was on watch. I don't think so. That's a bit extreme on my side. Sis, I hope you didn't leave because of that. Okay? That does not make sense to me. The next one reads, when I joined the army at 19 years old, I needed to submit my medical records because of a heart condition caused by a childhood disease. I ended up getting the records of my whole family. There in my family doctor's handwriting was the story of how my mother, apparently suffering from postpartum depression, put a loaded gun to my head and pulled the trigger. A misfire miraculously saved me. She was involuntarily placed in a mental hospital for about 6 months while I lived with another family. My father had told me about this when I was younger, but I didn't believe him as he was known for being unreliable when it came to truth telling. I've never spoken to her about this and likely never will, as she is about to turn 89. I am beyond shocked. I am beyond shocked. I have no words. I have no words. I don't know. I think I would confront her. Knowing myself, I wouldn't let it slide. I would have confronted her. Better to confront her before she's no longer alive again and stay with something that will eat me up for the rest of my life and I would regret not confronting her about it. No, confront her. Do whatever it takes so that she can be okay. I would definitely confront her. The last one says, my parents told me I was adopted when I was 7. Even as a kid, I didn't think much of it. But when I was 13, my mom told me that my sperm donor was her brother, who is my uncle. Huh? And that my grandpa had given my egg donor money for an abortion. My egg donor drove out of state to get an abortion, But when she got there, she went shopping with the money instead. My grandpa was like a second father to me. So for 20 years, I've had to grapple with the fact that I was so unwanted by my grandfather that aborting me was the only option. Woo! While we allow all of this to sink in, come back to the comments, leave your thoughts. I'll definitely reply and see you in my next upload. Bye!